that I lost almost all the footage on it. My camera completely messed up on me this morning. I had so much of it done and it's just gone. But anyway, I wanted to share a couple things. First of all, I during the first part of the video, I did a kind of a what's new corner. And one of the two, let's do both of them here. I got two packages of chop strand mat. These are going to be used come springtime when I get to doing the rest of the foredeck. I got them now because I think they're going to quit carrying these pretty soon. But there's 8 square feet, and between these two, this will be all I need to do the finish up. I'm going to be using that in between layers. I'm going to, when I put in the, I'll have like, I've got a 6-ounce cloth on there right now on top of my chop strand mat. And then over the top of that, I'm going to be putting in a heavier weave. And anyway, I'm going to be using the chop strand mat in between, and probably with some 1708 on top. That's going to be the last layer, and it should be good to go. So anyway, I've got a couple of packages of this. Not too expensive. I just picked it up over at Home Depot. Another thing that I got just recently, and I love it. I found this online and ordered it, and it is a brand new copy. It has never been used by anybody. $3, and it's One Hand for Yourself, One Hand for the Ship by Tristan Jones. This is excellent stuff. It's about single-handing. It's about, it's just a lot of wise sayings. This is a guy that has put in more miles over the water than any of us will do in a lifetime, But anyway, just really good stuff. One hand for yourself, one for the ship. Like I said, I ordered this through a used book place. I can't remember the name of it. And it arrived here, and it's mint. I was not expecting an absolutely brand new book, but I'm just elated, and I'm going to get my name in it and put little girl in here. So anyway, that's kind of cool. The other thing I did, I also bought a little cook stove. The problem is that when I got it, where is that silly thing? Hang on, let me grab it here real quick. Okay, I don't know if you see this. This is a Coleman cook stove, and I was really excited about it because I had a cheap cook stove that was rusted all to pieces. And I mean, way back when I got my boat, the day I got my boat, the guy took me in the back room and handed me a brand new Arita. It's one of the, it was a double burner alcohol stove that had been abused, left out in the weather, and I completely refurbished that thing. I mean, got it to mint condition. And I ended up deciding it was just too big for my boat, and so I took it back to him. Stupidest thing I ever did. And I took it back to him, and he gave me this cheapy little butane burner. And I just looked at it recently. I think somebody else had already had it on their boat. It had black paint on it. The black paint was shipping. It was rusted thoroughly underneath the black paint. I said, I'm done with that. So I went out and bought a brand new, one of these, a Coleman butane stove. It's virtually identical to the black one I had, except it's Coleman. And I got it home, put it down on a desk, and it's tipping all over the place. One of the legs is too long. And so I took it back, and I got another one, and it's too long. I give up. I'm not going to do it anymore. So I'm going to have to come up with something else for a little cook stove for the boat. But for right now, I'm just scrapping it. I'm going to get my money back. Okay, the last thing I did, I was showing a lot of the work I had done in refurbishing some of my deck furniture. My hawse pipe and my main deck cleat, and all the work that I did on them. I even had demos on the work I was doing on it, and all that footage got lost. Now I've got a little bit of it that you're going to see right now, but I was so upset, and so I'm doing it on this cell phone, and I'm hoping this is going to work. And with that, I'm going to close down. I'm going to see how this works. If it works, then I'm going to be back. And I'm going to have some more stuff for you. But for right now, anyway, so thanks for stopping by Restoring Little Girl. This is wintertime project stuff that I'm doing here up in Vermont. I can't be down on the boat right now, so this is stuff I'm trying to get done while I'm up here in Vermont. And I'll share with you another project I've got coming up while I'm up here in Vermont. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. And I'm going to shut down, check this out, see if it runs. If it runs, I'll be back. See you later. Okay, well, the video is working out, so I'm back. The deal is, I went back, I took that Coleman cook stove back today, and I was telling him, oh, it's all tippy, second one in a row, right? So the guy says at the counter, says, well, let me check it out. So he took it out, put it down on the counter, and it's perfect. Absolutely. You know what the problem was? My desk, my work desk, that's what's tippy. So I'm so relieved. This is a really decent little Coleman stove. I had no doubt about it to begin with, except that it was tippy. It's not tippy. It depends on where you put it. If you put it on an old work table that's kind of got some dips and everything, it'll be tippy. But anyway, no, so I'm grateful for that. I've got four canisters of gas left, and I would hate to have those unused when those fit my new Coleman stove perfectly. So thankfully, I now have a decent little stove I'm going to be using back on the boat. It comes in its own carry case, and I'm not going to be letting that thing winter on the boat anymore. In other words, whenever I get done, and I don't think that's what made the rust on the other one. I think that was already begun rusting and chipping when I got it 5 years ago. So anyway, okay, that's all done. Then I've got this other thing, the other project I told you about that's coming up just right after I get finished with this. I do want to mention one other thing as far as reading is concerned. There's another book I would highly recommend. I'm loving it. It's just excellent. And for those of you guys who like to do soloing, single-handing, going into little places and dropping an anchor and being there for the night, go check out the book. It's called Penelope Down East. Penelope's the name of this guy's cat boat. Okay, and it's just wonderful. And this guy has done a lot of sailing in his life, and particularly in a nice little gaff rig cat boat on the coast of Maine. And that's what makes it so cool, because there's so much just rich history and cool stuff about the coast of Maine and all these places you can go. Do that. Penelope Down East. I highly recommend it. I'm only about halfway through the book right now. Loving every bit of it. So, okay, with that, I'm going to be done with this segment, and we're going to go on and tell you about the new thing that I'm going to be doing that has to do with getting some appropriate documentation on my boat so that I don't get stickered again, which I'll tell you about that in a minute. Okay, so I get to working on this, and there was a lot of grunge right around where the vertical part of the hawse pipe came up from the flange, and I was easy to get the part out on the flat. That seemed to come off pretty well with just some steel wool and using the Brasso. But I decided to try something a little bit different because the steel wool didn't really seem to be taking it off that well. So what I did, I used a Q-tip over here and loaded it right up with Brasso and applied it all around right in the where the like I said, the vertical part comes up from the flange, and then I scrubbed it. Here, let me grab this. I scrubbed it with this old toothbrush, just scrubbing it right into the corner there, where the two, surfaces meet. And I was amazed because by doing that and going right into the corner and using the Brasso, it cleaned up. Now, you can't see it right now because I've gone back and I've gone back over this a little bit right now. I've already cleaned this up. Here, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this down and let you see what we got here, because it's really pretty remarkable. I'm surprised that it came up as well as it did. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this whole. Okay, yeah, you can see it right there. Okay, that's just one. That's just one little section, but I did it all the way around the base right here, and I was just really surprised. So the Brasso worked. Now this is, I guess chrome. I don't know what you want to call it. Anyway, it's, but all I can say is the Brasso Q-tipped into place and then scrubbed with a toothbrush, and boy, it came up great. Let me go ahead and work on this, and I'll bring it back in just a few minutes and show it to you. And look, I don't know how many of you guys will be cleaning your hose pipe anytime soon, but when you got all kinds of metals and stuff on boats that get exposed to salt water, it's just one idea. It's working for me, and I'll show you when I get a little more cleaned on this. Well, I got a long way to go, but I'll tell you, that is coming along very nicely. I haven't done the inside of this yet, but this is going to have some work around on the backside where the screw is in the way. I may try to hit that with some WD-40 and get that screw out. I'm very reluctant to do it because it's been in salt water over 50 years. I'm afraid that screw is probably just going to break off, and I do not want to have that happen. So obviously the screw has never been touched. That's original. Let's put it this way. That has not been a boogered up Phillips screw head. 50 years ago, that may have been slotted, so that may have been replaced, come to think of it. But anyway, I got more work to do, but I thought I'd just share this with you this evening. Like I said, that really worked nicely to Q-tip the Brasso into place and then use the toothbrush to do the scrubbing, and then just some good old paper towel to wipe everything down. It came out looking great. Well, here's the other baby I've been working on. This is my big main deck cleat that I use to secure the boat when we are at anchor and so forth. And very heavy, very solid bronze. And when you get one like this that has, who knows, I don't know that this thing has ever been cleaned, but you can see how dark that is, all the patina on it from years and years of being out on the sea, out on the ocean. This boat sailed, the Hudson River, Nantucket, what is it? Long Island Sound. I know the history of my boat. Long Island Sound, Nantucket Sound. It's been on a lot of salt water, let's put it that way. And it builds up so much grunge, so much patina, that the only way that I've found to get it off effectively is just sandpaper it. And it works a whole lot faster. I remember going through the trouble of making up this special compound. You can look it up online. Special compound of different, I don't know, baking soda. I can't remember all the stuff that was in it. And try to soak it in it. Let me tell you something. It did virtually nothing to try to get this stuff off. And so I did a combination of scraping it with my knife and sandpaper. And I've just been using, hang on a minute. I think this is 80 grit or 60 grit, which is pretty coarse stuff. But anyway, I've been using this initially, but you don't want to leave it at that. You want to be able to get the thing polished up. So and then I go to 150 grit, which is much finer, to take it down and smooth it up a bit. And then after that, ultimately, I'll take it down to, I don't know, 250, something like that, grit. But the main thing is, after a while, I'll take it right down to using some brass polish and steel wool. And it'll come up looking like $1,000,000. Like I said, this is just to get the grunge off. And it's so deep and caked on that it takes that kind of sandpapering to finally get all the grunge off from it. I mean, I'm just about halfway through this. I haven't done done a whole lot with it, more maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes of work on it so far. So anyway, that's the other thing we're doing tonight, but I'm really looking forward to getting this one cleaned up. You can see this one has been used a lot. You can see it's all pitted and banged up, and who knows, probably a few anchors dropped on that over the years. Anyway, all right, that's it for tonight. We're going to go hit the sack, but work some more on these tomorrow, and try to get these cleaned up. We're long ahead of schedule of being able to put these on the boat, but it's all stuff that's got to be done. And right now, it's an easy thing while I'm up away from the Cape, and not with my boat. These are here, and I'm just trying to get the work done. Well, I just got back from Home Depot, and I picked up a couple things. This is one of those projects I mentioned last night. One of the things I'm going to be doing is doing my boat numbers. About 2 years ago, I guess it was when my Johnson motor broke down, and I ended up having to leave a little girl at the town dock overnight, and I got stickered. And the reason I got stickered was because I had no boat numbers on it. I did have a legal annual sticker on the bow that they didn't see because it was on port, and they couldn't see it from the dock because they were looking at my boat from starboard. But anyway, the long and the short of it is I had no boat numbers on, and without the boat numbers, I couldn't tell I was legitimate. So anyway, I've been intending to do this for a while. I had ordered boat numbers a long time ago. I've had them ready to go on. It's a regular press-on kind that comes on a piece of paper roll, and you line it up, press it on, and you're on. Well, anyway, so I went and bought a really nice piece of clear white pine. It's a little narrow for the boat numbers, but we're going to do that for this year anyway. And some paint. And so this is my next little project. Other than getting back to this cleaning thing, and I'm going to do some more talking about that in a little bit here. But just wanted to share that with you. And I also went out in the garage and found my can of white primer, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and prime these boards, cut them to size, probably do a nice little line in the boards with my table saw. I like to do that because after you paint it, it just makes a really nice clean delineation of the edges of your board. So anyway, I'm going to do that. Prime these suckers, get them painted, and I'm painting them tan. I really like the idea of tan signboards with a dark green hull. Anyway, that's my idea. So that's going to be one of my projects. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to show you this nice piece of white pine I got, and the paint, and then we're going to let this part of it be enough for right now, and we'll get back to this another time. Yeah, this cost me about $11, but it is really a nice piece, and I'm going to be able to get some really nice clean straight piece. It's very straight. I always check my lumber before I carry it out of the store, make sure it's good and straight grain and so forth. So anyway, where's my numbers? I just had them here a minute ago. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, this is supposedly a 4-inch board. These are 3-inch letters, and it's going to be tight, but you know what, like I said, my main thing is just get legal, get it posted legal, so I don't get this thing of getting stickered by the harbor master, and I don't want that to ever happen again. So this is one of my little projects we got coming up shortly, and here's the paint. It's not as tan as I like, but it's not bad, and we're gonna paint that up and yeah, see if we can't get some signboards for my boat. Okay, this is the one brief part of the project that didn't get recorded before that I lost. And I'm just going to do this very briefly, and much briefer than I did the first time I did it, because I've got all the work done, basically. In working on a solid bronze piece like this, or any bronze. Okay, you there are concoctions that you can make on the internet. I've done it before. Let me tell you something. I don't care what concoction you use, and put it on bronze that has amassed a massive amount of patina, a heavy coating of patina over many years of being out exposed to the salt. Okay, you're not going to get it off with any kind of a concoction. And Brasso, forget it. It doesn't even do it really. And so on a recent episode of Acorn to Arabella, what they were doing, they had just a regular wire wheel on a bench motor, and they were just doing this into the wire, into that wire brush wheel. Works like a charm. Okay, well, basically, if you don't have a bench motor, I have one, but I don't have it set up. The next best thing is sandpaper. And I know you're going to put some scratches in it, but you're going to be taking the scratches out as you go through your different grades of sandpaper. I start with a plain old 80, I think this is 80 or 60 grit. And I'm going to just demo here briefly in just a second. So I start off with that and try to get the bulk of all the massive stuff off. And it'll come off. You just keep working it, and you're going to work all the way down through, these different layers of the patina that's been built up. Then I go from that to a 150 grit. Where is that? Yeah, a 150 grit, and then after that I go to a 200 grit. Okay, and then from there, just plain old steel wool, and maybe a little bit of Brasso. And when you do that, it works. I mean, I've done this many times. I did that one time of trying to use the concoction they show on the internet that you mix up. I think it's salt and baking soda and one thing and another. Whatever. I find that this is far more effective. And like I said, this is all done the way I'm going to be describing it right now. I'm going to do this really quickly, and then we're going to be done with this segment. I just wanted to do this demo and have it done with. Let me just show you one thing. When you're doing this, I'm going to tip this down. When you're doing this, have a work cloth that you're working on over your lap, because this stuff will stain the crap out of your pants if you're not careful. I mean, if you do it just down on your jeans, it'll stain something wicked. My wife is very she makes me aware of it. She says, none of your pants ever stay good because you're always working on them. Yeah, that's true. So anyway, you got a piece of this like I think it's 80 grip. And use your finger and use it to contour. Just push it into the contours, and you got a marvelous grip because the sandpaper is gripping to your finger. Well, just use all your into the contours and work it all around the different surfaces. You're going to have some areas that are more difficult to get to than others, but once you go do it with that, and you go all over it with that, then you come back and you go with your 150 grit. And even now, I just scuffed it up with that 80 grit. But I'm going to do this for just a second. And already, I don't know if you can see that, already that took out the scratches from the 80 grit and went to a much finer look. Then you go to your 200 grit. And now you're getting down really nice and smooth. And then you can go all the way down to just some really nice steel wool. And you get the idea. It really shines it up beautifully. So and that's it. I'm not going to do any more than that. My demo before was much longer than that, but there's nothing more needed. Just use your different grits. Go down through your different grits from very coarse to very fine, then down to some steel wool and maybe some Brasso in the end to just do some polishing. But it's worth taking the time. The irony is you're going to do this stuff, and you're going to have it on there for a season, maybe a season or two, and it's going to be right back to having the same patina on it they had before. But enjoy it. I mean, once you get it done, get everything set up, take some nice pictures so you remember it. Because ultimately, the old sea, the salt is going to do the corrosion thing, and it's going to look all patinaed again eventually. So anyway, that's it. That's all I'm going to do for that. And then we're going to do the boat number project as a separate thing, because I got to get out in the garage and use my table saw and all that kind of good stuff. But for right now, I think this is pretty much all we're going to do. And oh, what the heck, I'm just going to do a wrap on it. I will say this: don't let my negative on the Coleman cook stove be a negative to you, because I've used these little stoves before. They do work great. They work great on a sailboat, and I'm looking forward to having a decent one, non-rusted, in excellent working condition. And I'm sure this Coleman, being the good brand name that it is, I'm sure this is going to be a great little cook stove for me. So anyway, hey, thanks for stopping by, Restoring Little Girl. Catch you later.